Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, I would like to thank my very dear brother, Mr. Sahibzada Sultan Ahmed Ali, and his brilliant team of Muslim Youth Institute for organizing such a very important event on the eve of our anniversary, diplomatic relations between Kazakhstan and Pakistan. 30 years ago, on February 24th, our first president, His Excellency Nursultan Nazarbayev, visited your beautiful capital, your beautiful country. And at this very date, we signed an agreement establishing diplomatic relations between our countries. From that time, I must say, we're gradually developing cooperation mainly at the political level, and I must say that we have an excellent dialogue between our leaders, between the ministries of foreign affairs. On a regular basis, we organize different events dedicated to discussing our bilateral agenda, our regional issues, within the framework of organizations mentioned by my very dear friends, such as Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Conference on Interaction and Confidence Building Measures in Asia, and other structures. So when we talk about our bilateral relations, I must say that the most developed area of our interaction today is the military cooperation. Again, on regular basis, our representatives of our armies, of our ministries of defense, they have dialogue, they visit each other. But unfortunately, due to some circumstances, we didn't pay enough attention to our economic cooperation, to our trade. And nowadays, according to our statistics, for example, last year, bilateral trade was about something $45 million. According to your statistics, our bilateral trade is about $103 million. Even in terms of figures, we have, such a great discrepancy. So what I'm trying to say is that we should develop cooperation, first of all and foremost, between our appropriate state agencies. And now, for example, we, have taken a number of very active measures. And if you allow me, I would like to share with you the last events that took place in our bilateral relations. So in February 2020, we organized the 9th session of Intergovernmental Joint Commission here in Islamabad. And it was decided to establish 3 joint working groups on trade, on transport, and on energy. Last year in November, we organized the very first online sessions of our joint working group on transport and our joint working group on trade. And I'm really happy to say that on December 12th, your government, Prime Minister, His Excellency Imran Khan, announced that the government of Pakistan approved a request of the Kazakh side to operate direct flights. So I believe that it will be a very important step forward in terms of boosting our B2B, our people-to-people ties, and developing diversification our bilateral interaction. And I hope that in the next few months we will be able to relaunch flights between our countries. The main issue that we need to address today, in my humble opinion, is the lack of information. Unfortunately, our communities in general, speaking in general, know little about each other. And this is the issue that we need to deal with. When it comes to our political elites, when it comes to our big business companies, they know each other quite well. But when it comes to our ordinary people, I must say that we should work hard in terms of, to raise awareness of our communities about each other. That's why on regular basis, I visit your regions, because I believe maybe one of the most important parts of our cooperation and one of the most important emphasis or focus should be at our regional interaction. That's why, during my this 6 months in your beautiful country, I was able to visit Karachi, Lahore, Peshawar, Sialkot. I met with regional authorities. We discussed prospects for developing cooperation, and I proposed to establish sister cities, for example, between our capitals, Nur Sultan and Islamabad, between our business capitals, Karachi and Almaty, and of course our spiritual centers, I mean Lahore and Turkestan. I believe such kind of interaction can help a lot in terms of developing cooperation, increasing our people-to-people ties. It is extremely important. I always say that when it comes to cooperation between Kazakhstan and Pakistan, it's not only about trade, it's not only about investment, but maybe first of all and foremost, it's about people. It's about brotherly relations. Somehow, unfortunately, due to some events that took place in the past, we lost this connection. But now it's time, we believe, to revive our relations, to revive our brotherly relations. We have so many things that should unite us: our culture, our history, our religion, so on and so forth. When I visit Lahore and I see this beautiful Bachahi mosque, and I see this kind of connection through the history that we have between our people, between our nations. So I believe that our noble mission is to restore kind of I would say historical ties between our countries, to restore justice and to bring closer our nations to each other. And I fully agree with you, and I fully agree with Mr. Sahibzada Sultan Ahmed Ali that we need to develop ties with the main focus on people to people. So when it comes to people, my idea was to establish close collaboration, for example, between our ministries of information. In my humble opinion, this is the best way, the shortest route to reach to our communities, to develop ties, to exchange information, to exchange TV shows, to exchange different programs dedicated to our history, to our culture, to the current situation in our region. We should exchange information, and this is, I would say, the most important part of my job. And I met with Minister of Information here in Pakistan, with Mr. Chawat Fawdri, and I met with Minister of Information in Kazakhstan, and both agreed, on the urgent need to develop cooperation between our media communities. It is extremely important if we want to raise awareness again among our communities about, our countries. It's very important to involve and to engage with media communities. Another very important part of our people-to-people cooperation, of course, universities. It's well known that Pakistan is one of the youngest nations in the world. So if we want to build a solid foundation for, on long-term perspectives, we should be focused on young people. That's why one of the main focus of my team is to develop as many direct links between our universities, between our academic communities as we can. For example, in December, I'm happy to say that we organized a signing ceremony between the Qadi Azam University and Kazakh British Technical University. And this year we are planning to hold a session dedicated to cooperation between our universities on science and technology. So what I'm trying to say is that our universities, again, can contribute greatly in terms of developing cooperation at the level of our people-to-people dimension. When it comes to our economic ties, when it comes to our B2B ties, I must say that there is a great interest from both sides, and there is a great potential and I would say big scope for our cooperation. So in November, for the first time in our bilateral relations, we organized a 2-day business forum. About 35 people from Pakistan came to participate in this event in Almaty, and I must say that most of them came to visit, our country for the first time. And as they say, it was a kind of eye-opener for them. And now they know how big potential in terms of developing business-to-business ties between our countries. And I'm really happy to say that during this business forum, we signed a number of contracts between Kazakh and Pakistani private companies. So in May, we are also planning to organize another event in Almaty called Made in Pakistan. This exhibition, a 5-day exhibition, will be held in Almaty, and as for now, we have already more than 100 applications from Pakistani companies to participate in this event. Moreover, we expect that in February, a business delegation from Kazakhstan will come to participate in the event organized in Lahore. So, as you may see, our bilateral agenda, our schedule is quite tight, and I'm really happy to see that now I see that our relations becoming stronger. We have more and more events, bilateral events, joint events that we are organizing, and it's very important to say that during this year, the year of our anniversary of diplomatic relations, the President of Kazakhstan is going to visit your beautiful city, your beautiful capital. Probably, inshallah, it will take place in September. Our President will be here, and the thing is that last year on September 16th, our President for the first time met with Prime Minister of Pakistan, His Excellency Mr. Imran Khan. They discussed a broad range of bilateral relations with the main focus on our economic ties. They invited each other to visit our countries, and our President accepted your kind invitation, and he will be here this year. So, for me, it's very important to not just to organize another, I would say, political talks, but we should bring something meaningful. We should, bring kind of, I would say, tangible results, tangible outcomes of all this activity that we are having, during these years. That's why I believe a very important dimension that I must, I have to mention is the experts community. Experts community, it's a kind of, I must say, intellectual diplomacy. That's why we are also developing ties between our think tanks. For example, in December, we organized for the first time again an online session between 5 top think tanks of Kazakhstan and Pakistan. We discussed last year we celebrated the 30th anniversary of independence of Kazakhstan. We discussed the achievements that we, have had in within these 3 decades, and we also exchanged views on the prospects of cooperation between Kazakhstan and Pakistan. Again, when we talk about our relations, when we talk about our collaboration, we should not consider each other as a kind of final point of destination. The thing is that Kazakhstan and Pakistan can serve each other as regional hubs. And as you might know, Kazakhstan is the biggest landlocked country in the world. And in this term, for us, regional connectivity is of utmost importance. It's extremely crucial. Our president addressing the parliament of Kazakhstan last year in September, he tasked our government to increase our export and our transit potential of our country. So in this term, for us, it is extremely important to develop a regional infrastructure. And I must say that Pakistan can help us in terms of getting access to the warm waters. And probably it would be the shortest route. And as it was mentioned, we are 2 integral parts of this China's big project, One Belt, One Road. And in this term, I believe that we can help each other in terms of developing infrastructure. And I must say that vice versa, Kazakhstan can help, Pakistan in terms of getting access to the Eurasian markets, to the markets of the Central Asian region, and finally to the European markets. 2 years ago, we finalized construction of the railroad connecting the Western China with Europe. And nowadays, for example, delivery time of goods from China to Europe is about 14-15 days. in comparison to 40, 50 days by sea. So again, as I said, the regional connectivity, intra-regional connectivity is the name of the game. So that's why we should be focused on developing our infrastructure. Without a well-developed infrastructure, I believe it would be extremely difficult to to boost our trade, to boost our people-to-people, B2B, whatsoever. So that's why we have a number of, I would say, priority areas that we should be focused on. And in this term, I must say that when it comes to our bilateral trade, it would be and it should be useful not only for Kazakhstan and Pakistan itself, but also it would be useful for the whole region. For example, Afghanistan. Afghanistan can serve as a bridge connecting Central Asia and Southern Asia, Pakistan, and it can serve as a regional transit hub. And probably Afghanistan, could be one of the most beneficial parts of this collaboration, of this cooperation. If we want, for example, to deliver our goods between Kazakhstan and Pakistan, at least we should cross 3 borders. 3 countries. So what I'm trying to say, that we should also develop our cooperation, our regional cooperation, our regional interaction. I was saying that from the very beginning, Kazakhstan was in favor of developing regional connectivity. Back in 90s, our first president, Nursultan Nazarbayev, he proposed to our Central Asian brothers to establish a union of Central Asian states, but at that time, not all of them were really supportive of this idea. But nevertheless, I'm happy to say that today everyone understands that without supporting each other, without developing cooperation, regional cooperation, it would be extremely difficult to become a successful, a well-developed country. We should help each other. We should support each other. We should share experience. We should share technology, so on and so forth. So that's why we believe that it is extremely important nowadays to be focused on developing regional cooperation and our ties with our brothers here in Pakistan. I arrived in the middle of June, and when I just arrived, at the very next week, I read 2 articles written by Prime Minister Imran Khan and published in, I believe it was in the Washington Post and in the New York Times. So he shared his ideas about the future of Pakistan. He shared his ideas about the domestic policy and the foreign policy of your beautiful country. And the only region that he mentioned in terms of developing foreign policy strategy was Central Asia. Now, in January, your government presented for the first time security policy strategy. And I was really happy to learn that among in this chapter dedicated to the foreign policy of Pakistan, the first country that was mentioned is Afghanistan. And in terms of developing cooperation with Afghanistan, it was mentioned that Afghanistan is an important country in the context of developing cooperation between Pakistan and Central Asia. So it shows how everything is interrelated, how every country of our region is interdependent. Only through cooperation, only through dialogue, only through developing our ties, we will be able to to become successful region. We can do everything. I believe that the potential is there. What we need to do is to unite our efforts. So if you allow me, I would like to stop here, and I will be more than happy to answer to your questions. Thank you so much for your attention.